On the afternoon of June 3rd, dense yellow smoke suddenly rose from the Tai Mountain Scenic Area in Taiyuan, Shanxi province. Shortly after, a loud explosion was heard, followed by the collapse of the Tai Mountain Museum building. Aerial footage shows severe collapse in the front section of the Tai Mountain Museum complex, leaving it resembling a pile of rubble. A large pit has appeared on the mountainside surrounding the building, exposing a significant amount of yellow soil. The ground is covered with a large amount of rocks and debris, and the walking paths on the mountain have been blocked by this pit. Comparing the panoramic view of the Tai Mountain Museum, it is clear that the collapsed buildings include the Tai Mountain Root Carving Art Museum, Exhibit Hall 7, and the Upper Court's Taiyuan Hall. Images from state media reports show that Exhibit Hall 7 is located at the southernmost end of the building complex. The collapse occurred about 40 meters southwest of Exhibit Hall 7 with an estimated span of 20 to 30 meters and a depth of several meters. The profile of the collapse reveals a yellow weathered soil layer on top with a dark purple, heavily weathered rock layer beneath it. The foundation of the collapsed buildings is noticeably tilted southwest, with some parts of the foundation sinking underground. According to Tai Mountain Museum's official public account, the collapsed Taiyuan Hall was a recent addition. It measures 3 bays wide and 8.6 meters deep, with a sloped roof design in the Tang Dynasty style. Inside the hall, there were wooden sculptures resembling the 4 heavenly kings from the Tang Dynasty. That evening, the museum issued a notice announcing its closure due to recent geological disasters, stating it would remain closed until further notice. The Tai Mountain Museum is located about 20 kilometers southwest of Taiyuan City in Fangyu Gorge, covering a total area of 3.6 million square meters. The museum features a recently built Tang Dynasty-style temple, which includes numerous structures such as a mountain gate, the Great Hero Hall, and a scripture hall. The temple houses important relics, including Buddhist sculptures from the Tang and Ming dynasties. In 2013, it was listed by the State Council as one of the 7th batch of National Key Cultural Heritage Protection Units. After the incident, the Shanxi Provincial Cultural Heritage Bureau quickly launched an investigation. According to reports, experts conducted a detailed survey of the collapse site. Preliminary analysis indicated that the Tai Mountain Museum is located in a mountainous area with complex geological conditions. Long-term erosion from rain and geological changes led to an unstable foundation, ultimately triggering the collapse. But this explanation follows the usual pattern of experts within the CCP system, vague and unclear, without directly addressing the true cause of the incident. What exactly do complex geological conditions refer to? What specific manifestations of geological changes were present? If these questions were answered clearly, the root causes of many major accidents in China might point directly to government mismanagement. This ambiguous statement from experts specifically appears to address public concerns, but in reality, it conceals the truth behind the incident and seeks to quell public criticism. On June 6, the Tai Mountain Scenic Area issued a statement saying that around 2:15 p.m. on June 3rd, a partial collapse occurred in the eastern Ping area of the Tai Mountain Scenic Area. The collapsed building is located outside the protection and construction control zones of the National Key Cultural Heritage Site, Tai Mountain Longquan Temple, and is not classified as a cultural relic. The collapsed building covered about 350 square meters, and the surrounding ground showed signs of subsidence and cracking. The collapse did not result in any casualties. The official statement has sparked heated discussions and doubts among online users. Many have questioned whether it is yet another example of a tofu dreg project. One user commented, "Is the steel and concrete up to standard? Was there any cost-cutting in construction? What about the qualifications of the construction company? Was it subcontracted multiple times?" As one vlogger pointed out, why did the building collapse under good weather conditions with no earthquakes or other natural disasters? Could there be issues with safety management? With a loud crash, the 2-story building of the Tai Mountain Museum collapsed into ruins. On the afternoon of June 3rd, there was no earthquake, no heavy rain, and yet a perfectly good brick and concrete structure just collapsed. The rising yellow smoke covered the face of safety management in shame. The surveillance footage clearly shows it. The east wall cracked first, and then the roof came crashing down. Fortunately, the visitors managed to flee in time, and no lives were lost. But can the lack of casualties cover up the wound of poor management? According to this vlogger, the museum's safety inspection records, disclosed after the incident, clearly shows that during the first quarter, safety hazards such as wall cracks and ground bulging were already identified. But the museum's management ignored these issues, neither taking any corrective measures nor closing the museum. It continued to operate as usual, leading to the eventual collapse of the building, turning a hidden danger into a full-blown disaster. The report also stated that the collapsed building was a later addition and not part of the protected cultural heritage structures. But the vlogger believes that this is an attempt by the Shanxi Provincial Cultural Heritage Bureau to shift blame. The truth came to light quickly as aerial footage directly confirmed that the collapsed Tai Mountain Root Carving Art Museum and Exhibition Hall 7 were clearly within the museum complex as marked in the visitor's panoramic view. So, just because it's not a cultural relic, does that mean it's allowed to rot? A building from 1998 hasn't had an inspection in 20 years. Fire exits are being blocked by heavy vehicles. Heavy rain has softened the backfill soil, yet no one in management seems to care. The infection has long been festering. Do they have to wait for the building to collapse before they feel the pain? Taiyuan held an emergency meeting that night, putting on a performance with safety nets. But where were they before? Last year, they fined a hospital for overcharging. The year before that, they fixed sunken roads. Each time, it was a painful lesson, and yet they lie back down again. This time, it's even worse. Collapsed buildings, with mortar strength only 60% of the design standard. Beams and columns carbonize like burnt firewood, and the testing equipment can't even detect the laziness of some people. If you ask me, it's all about conducting thorough inspections. Don't just check the buildings. Start by screening out the safety officers who are just going through the motions. The safety of cultural relics isn't up to luck. It depends on people being vigilant. This collapse in Taiyuan is tragic, and if the safety officers were as diligent as when they watched short videos, those cracks would have already gone viral. According to the vlogger's description, the collapsed building likely has quality issues and may be a typical example of a tofu dreg project. The official report reportedly emphasized that the buildings was not a cultural relic, seemingly implying that the non-cultural relics can be allowed to deteriorate and collapse. The vlogger asked, even if it isn't a cultural relic, aren't these buildings funded by taxpayers' money? Can they really escape responsibility for safety management just because they aren't considered cultural relics? The report also mentioned that in July 2022, due to heavy rainfall, a localized collapse occurred in the eastern Ping area of the Tai Mountain Scenic Area. The collapse area and its surroundings were identified as high-risk areas and were placed under strict management and closed off. The collapsed building was located within the high-risk zone and managed under these precautions. Satellite images show that the collapse occurred approximately 40 meters southwest of Exhibition Hall 7, which is location 1. A large-scale collapse had previously occurred about 52 meters southwest and southeast of Exhibition Hall 7, which is location 2. On the east slope of Exhibition Hall 7, location 3, the trees are arranged in a neat pattern, which is distinctly different from the random arrangement in other areas. Additionally, the color of the trees also differ, suggesting that this area may have undergone reinforcement treatments in the past. The moment I launched the drone, I saw a huge pit in front of the collapsed building, and inside this pit, there was black coal-like material. Immediately following that, the walkway connecting to the pit also collapsed, and it looked like the ground had sunk in. It felt like there had been coal mining there before. Could there be a collapsing mine void underneath? Seeing this scene was truly heartbreaking. I just hope there were no casualties. Some people in the coal mining industry suspect that the collapse may have been caused by a mining void. They dug up the coal mine distribution map for the Taiyuan area, and the results were surprising. The Tai Mountain Scenic Area is indeed located within the Western Mountain coalfield. But the problem is that previous geological data is both scarce and disorganized, making it impossible to confirm whether this area is actually a mining void. Additionally, the coal under Tai Mountain was mined many years ago during a time when illegal mining and over-extraction were rampant, resulting in the loss of many crucial geological records.
具体情况，相关部门称正在调查。
The relevant departments have stated that an investigation is underway. Tai Mountain is located in the transitional zone between the Taiyuan Basin and the Luliang Mountains, where rock weathering is severe, and there are fault zones and weak interlays in the strata. This is not the first time Tai Mountain has experienced a collapse. Previously, there was a collapse on the southeastern side of Longquan Temple. The total area of the bidding project for restoration is 8,500 square meters, as part of the Taiyuan West Mountain region, which is also in the Luliang Mountain West area. It was once a mining model area. The excessive mining caused land subsidence and widespread cracks. In the region, the Mongshan giant Buddha nearly became the Leaning Buddha due to a mining void, and it was only saved by a special budget of 74 million yuan from the central government. Although 7 coal mines in the Mongshan area were closed in 2007, the mining voids covered an area of 7.7 square kilometers, and incomplete remediation may have left lingering risks. Shanxi, with the most national key cultural heritage protection units, 531 in total, cannot just react after every relic is damaged, can it? Shouldn't we consider giving regular checkups to the homes of treasures left by our ancestors? The cause of the Tai Mountain Museum collapse has not been officially announced yet, but many people suspect it is also due to coal mining.
Political commentator Henry Lee pointed out that the collapse occurred in the Dongping area, which lies at the edge of the Western Mountain coalfield. This area has widespread coal-bearing strata from both the Taiyuan and Shanxi formations, with shallow coal seams exposed and thin coal layers. Due to the disorganized distribution of old mining voids in the region and the lack of relevant data, the underground conditions are extremely complex. According to Chinese media, coal mining management in the area has been chaotic. Especially between 2001 and 2010, numerous small coal mines operated illegally, leading to the creation of many mining voids and posing serious hidden dangers. Official data shows that the number of small coal kilns in Shanxi province once reached tens of thousands, with a recovery rate of less than 15%. Later, the CCP pushed forward the policy of state-owned enterprises advancing, private ones retreating, gradually reforming and shutting down the small coal kilns. Lee pointed out that these small coal kilns often lacked mining plans, with miners simply extracting coal wherever it was easiest, abandoning the site once the coal was exhausted, resulting in complete disorder. Many of these kilns had no surveying maps, and it was not uncommon for miners to unknowingly connect adjacent tunnels while digging. Li, who conducted field investigations in Jinzhong and Hushun from 2005 to 2009, recalled that when he spoke with small coal mine managers, they often sketched mining plans by hand. Some locals even dug tunnels in their own yards or homes to illegally mine coal, illustrating the chaotic situation. In analyzing the recent collapse, Lee believes that the likelihood of a karst collapse in the area is small. It is more likely that the collapse was caused by the collapse of old mining voids. During the investigation phase, before the design and construction of the Tai Mountain Museum, it is highly likely that the existence of these mining voids was not detected. According to the national standard Geotechnical Engineering Survey Code, all projects must undergo geotechnical surveys before design and construction. These surveys should clearly investigate adverse geological conditions and disaster risks and provide recommendations for preventing and mitigating mining void risks. When survey methods are insufficient, additional geophysical and drilling investigations should be conducted to clarify the geological features. The museum is managed by the Taiyuan Municipal Bureau of Cultural Heritage, and ideally, a geotechnical survey and a formal report should have been completed before construction. Lee pointed out that if no geophysical survey was conducted, it would be dereliction of duty. If the survey was conducted but no issue were found, it reflects problems with the quality of the investigation. In either case, the survey unit cannot escape blame. But most of China's surveying and design institutions are government-affiliated organizations. Therefore, after the collapse, experts within the system often absolve local governments and relevant entities of responsibility. As a result, whenever an accident occurs, experts tend to blame objective factors such as rainfall or geological conditions. In addition, falsified surveys are common in China. For example, in 2009, the Shandong Provincial Bureau of Geological and Mineral Resources Geophysical Exploration Team participated in a geothermal exploration project. They were tasked with detecting deep water-bearing structures in an anomalous geothermal area in the eastern part of Tenzhou. The geophysical team subcontracted the Transient Electromagnetic Methods Survey to a company under the Shandong Earthquake Bureau. This company used a portable transient electromagnetic instrument in a 5-meter by 5-meter framework powered by a car battery to conduct the survey. After completing a few measurement points, The battery malfunctioned and could not continue. The workers then began chatting and resting before returning. A few days later, the company submitted a formal transient electromagnetic survey report, complete with data and charts, and even with supposedly deep water-rich fault zones. The so-called data was actually generated by technicians in an office. In some weathered mountainous areas, surveying units even skip basic drilling and sampling tests. According to current data, the Tai Mountain Scenic Area had already shown signs of collapse as early as 2022, with cracks in the museum's walls and ground bulging. Over the course of 3 years, no one paid attention to or addressed the issue, highlighting the serious negligence of the management. This also underscores the bureaucratic numbness and evasion of responsibility within the CCP system. Furthermore, the collapse may also involve issues with building quality, raising suspicions of a tofu dreg project. The problem of illegal mining and over-extraction in China's small coal kilns not only has deep historical roots, but also exposes structural flaws in the governance system of the CCP. At the end of 2001, China officially joined the WTO, and its outward-facing economy rapidly rose. At the same time, since 1998, the CCP implemented housing commercialization reforms, making real estate a key engine of domestic demand. Against the backdrop of rapid economic growth, the demand for upstream energy sources, particularly coal, surged due to various heavy industries, especially steel, fertilizer, and cement. Soon, the entire country faced an energy crisis. Not only economically developed regions like Shanghai and Guangdong, but even coal-rich Shanxi province experienced frequent power cuts, with many power plants' coal stockpiles lasting less than 3 days. To address the energy crisis, in January 2002, the CCP removed the price guidelines for electricity coal and switched to a market-driven mechanism, causing coal prices to soar. Driven by huge profits, the illegal mining and over-extraction at small coal kilns intensified. Small coal kiln owners became overnight millionaires, known as coal bosses, almost synonymous with local tycoons. These individuals generally had low levels of education, yet they flaunted luxury cars, their trunks filled with bags of cash, and they spent extravagantly in various locations. They were known for bidding on world-renowned artworks, buying buildings in cash, and indulging in luxury goods. The rise of coal bosses was closely tied to political protection. Many coal bosses had close relationships with powerful officials, some even being family members. Through bribing officials, they obtained rights to develop resources at low prices and leverage political power to ensure project approvals, rapidly accumulating vast wealth. In turn, they provided benefits to officials, creating a mutual interest group centered around the exchange of power and money. Even more troubling was the fact that many officials, in pursuit of promotion, had to buy their positions from higher-ups, and the funds for this often came from these bosses. Once this symbiotic structure is exposed by anti-corruption mechanisms, it often leads to widespread consequences, making it difficult to resolve. Taking Mr. Xing Li Bing from Liulin, Shanxi province as an example, his rise to wealth is quite impressive. He initially contracted a coal mine in Liulin County and later acquired the state-owned Xunwu coal mine with reserves of 150 million tons at the low price of 80 million yuan. This turned him into the local tycoon. In 2016, Mr. Nie Chenyu, then a member of the Shanxi Provincial Standing Committee and party secretary of Luliang City, was sentenced to 15 years in prison for bribery. Investigations revealed that many coal-related reforms he led were used for profit transfer. Mr. Xing had provided Nie with money and extravagant gifts to smooth his political career. He spent over 70 million yuan organizing his daughter's wedding, renting several five-star hotels in Sanya, hiring celebrities for performances, and charting planes to transport guests, showcasing an extravagant lifestyle. The phrase 70 million yuan for a wedding became a symbol of the opulence of Shanxi's coal bosses floundering their wealth. Another example is Yang Shanjun, a Shanxi coal boss who bought more than 100 properties in Beijing's Chaoyang district in one go. Yang was originally the owner of the No. 5 mine in Kaojiangyu, Hongtong County. In 2009, an accident at this mine killed 6 people, but he attempted to cover up the truth. Although he was briefly detained by police, he was never held accountable. He later moved south to Guizhou to engage in real estate development. Such cases are numerous in China and expose the persistent issue of collusion between officials and business, and the exchange of money and power. They further illustrate that, in a system lacking efficient oversight, resource exploitation and power corruption often go hand in hand. In mainland China, under the CCP regime, the power structure is highly centralized. with the party and government not separated, creating a political ecosystem that presents the appearance of rule of law but is, in reality, governed by the rule of man. This governance model has been criticized by some observers as mafia-style scheme, with the core issue being the CCP's full control over the state apparatus. This concentration of power leads to a lack of meaningful checks and balances, fostering systemic corruption, abuse of power. Firstly, the CCP implements the political principle of party leadership over everything. Within this framework, the legislative, executive, and judicial branches are formally separated, but in practice are all directly led by the CCP committees. For example, the People's Congress at all levels should be responsible for supervising the government and enacting laws, but its operations are directed by the corresponding CCP committee, which prevents it from independently balancing executive power. More importantly, the public security, procuratorate, courts, and judicial departments such as police, prosecutor's office, courts, judicial bureau are all under the leadership of the CCP secretary. That means that the investigation, prosecution, and adjudication of cases are largely subject to the party's will rather than independent legal principles. Secondly, the power structure within the CCP is not based on an open and transparent democratic system, but rather relies on behind-the-scenes negotiations and superior appointments. This grants the party leadership nearly unchecked decision-making power. Once individuals enter the high-level positions or key roles, they may form closed loops of power and money transactions in an environment lacking external supervision. The coal boss is an official's interest chain in Shanxi is one example, where the local party secretary led the integration of coal mines and resource distribution, with coal bosses bribing officials for support, creating a collusive relationship between business and government. The saying absolute power leads to absolute corruption is particularly fitting in the CCP system. When the law loses its independence and officials are not bound by public elections or public opinion, corruption, abuse of power, and suppression of dissent becomes inevitable outcomes. The apparent rule of law is merely a tool of governance, not a mechanism to limit power. This systemic risk not only undermines the rule of law and justice, but also exacerbates societal dissatisfaction and distrust, posing a major threat to the stability of the regime.